There's this video I came across recently of Pastor Dolapo Lawal.
There's really nothing I can buy for my wife that I can feel like I've given her enough. No, no, no. I will explain. No, say, I will tell you why. When we started dating, I had closed down church, the church I had planted. I closed down the church. Listen, whatever. I had closed down the church. I was not doing ministry. I was jobless, living in a basement. I had no income. There was nothing for her to like.
And the interesting thing about that video, aside what he was communicating, for me, was the comment section. I saw it on TikTok, and here are snippets of what people were saying. It was actually a trend, what most people were saying in the comment section. And it reminded me of something I'd read. I don't know if I read it in a book. I think it was likely a video actually, of Warren Buffett. He was talking about an incident that happened years back for him, and how um, he was relating it to the communication of value, or his estimation of the value of the thing that was done. For most people, they didn't find that they had an issue with the video just because of some factors he had mentioned in the video. He was talking about how he doesn't know how he cannot appreciate the wife enough for what she had done for him years back. And I was amazed to see that all some people could see or could hear from what he was saying was the fact that he mentioned Maryland and Georgia. He didn't mention Nigeria. They were expecting Nigeria, they didn't hear Nigeria. They were hearing Maryland and Georgia. He mentioned PS5. They didn't expect that someone who is going through a lot, or someone who is apparently suffering, has a PS5. They didn't understand that he had a car. They didn't understand that. What else did they mention? The car, the PS5, the country, and then dollars. He was mentioning some figures in dollars and all of that. And to that, I'm so amazed, because what I don't understand is it that they didn't hear when he started, like how he began the story, because he was actually talking about what's the name, a time or a period in his life where he was jobless, meaning that prior to that time he probably had a job, he had sources of income. So are you saying that he didn't do anything with the money he had when he was actively earning, so therefore he could not own a car before? Or like, I didn't understand these people. You see, in Africa especially, when people talk about suffering, most people just expect it to be so grave and so horrible. You see, and that's where even the comparison comes in, where people begin to compare their sufferings with the sufferings of other people. Usually when you would want to confide in people, right, and share what you are going through, maybe something that has happened that has rocked you, or is affecting you and all of that. Most people, just by default, especially in Africa, because I've not been abroad, it's what they normally just do is to compare their situation with, or your situation with their situation or their previous situation. And they don't say this from the point of wanting to be relatable, because when people are going through things, one of the things that maybe when you're counseling them you would want to do is that you want the person to feel that, or the person to understand that what they are experiencing is not specific to them. It's not something that nobody else has gone through. So there's that aspect where you want the person to be able to relate. You want to be able to relate with the person. You want the person to see that there is hope and all of that. They don't say it from that point. So that one is different. This one is they are comparing their suffering to your suffering, just to diminish and to devalue. Is it even devalue? But to diminish the intensity of what you are saying. You see, and that's a very bad habit, because over time you realize that people will no longer want to confide in you, because every time they come to you, you belittle whatever it is that they are sharing with you. So there's that. Another thing from that video that kept occurring to me was the Warren Buffett situation I mentioned, which was a video I'd come across, and he was talking about how when he was on the come up, he had experienced something. I think he was in a situation. ChatGPT was telling me more about it. He was in a time of need. Let me just say that. And someone helped him in that time, right? And now that he's a billionaire in USD, now that he has several billions of dollars and all of that, there's nothing really he can give to such a person to appreciate it, because it really meant everything to him at the time, you see. And if probably, who knows, if the person hadn't rendered that help, he probably would not get to the heights of where he is today, right? So he was just talking about that and how he can't really appreciate such a person. Of course, he has done things for the person to show appreciation, but he can't. There's nothing really he can use to communicate the depth of his appreciation. The depth of his appreciation. So yeah, when I watched that video, it just brought back that story to mind. There's something I read several years ago. No, I think I watched several years ago, and I was just reminded because of the fantastic comments TikTokers decided to place on that video and not listen to what the guy was saying. And the amazing thing is that even at the latter part of the video, he said it too. He said it. He explained the what he, the spirit of his communication, but no, they didn't. I don't know if they didn't watch or just decided not to hear. When they heard the USD, nah, they didn't remember or they didn't stay back to listen to any other thing he was saying. They just logged off mentally, and because of that, they didn't hear what the guy was saying. So yeah, there's that. But then this also reminds me of another bad habit that a lot of people, a lot of us as Africans have, which is that when someone communicates their situation, when someone confides in a person, most times what we tend to do is that we tend to, it's because of poverty. All this is just poverty that's causing it. Uh-huh. You tend to now want to compare the person's situation to your situation or your past situation, something you've gone through. When they begin to compare your situation with their situations, they are not saying it from the point where, or the point of view of someone who wants you to find them relatable so that you'd like this find some comfort and solace in that. No, they are communicating it from the standpoint of what you are saying you don't know, we have seen worse and we are still around, so how much more, you see. And that thing, there are times where it's necessary, but are there even times where it's necessary? But it's not something you should be doing all the time, especially if you want people to constantly or consistently open up to you, because if you keep doing that over time, people will just lock up. They will lock up, they will not share with you, they will not open up to you, because every time they come to you, then you make them feel little. You belittle whatever it is that they are feeling, you belittle whatever it is that they've gone through, and then you make it seem insignificant. And of course, if you are constantly making a person feel like it, of course they would not want to come back to you, because nobody likes to feel that way and all of that. So if you're someone that's you're in a position of authority, and that would make it part of your work that people will have to open up to you, then it's something you should keep in mind. It's something you should keep in mind. There's a natural tendency to do that, especially in Africa, that there's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of poverty. So a lot of people have had to experience very bad things. But it doesn't mean that when they come, then you are just feeling up and down, and all you're doing is just compare your situation to them. No, no, there's the point of view of making yourself relatable. There's that. But please, if it's not trying to be relatable, then please, we don't need to hear your life story. We are talking about me at the moment. We're not talking about you. If you want to talk about you, come to me and also talk about you. Yeah, so these are the issues. These are the issues. These are the issues that we need to handle. These are the, I like this this statement. I've been saying this since. I think I'll change my journal name to these are the issues. Or I'll do a whole series on that, and we just talk about things like this. So share with me. I'll let me know you're ignorant. These are the issues. The noise. These are the issues. Filming at this time. These are the issues, because everyone has closed from work. Most people have closed from work and they are returning home. And it's the fasting season, so they want to get home before 6. So they break their fast. That's why there's so much noise. Day in a life of a content creator. Yeah, so that was. I got these new glasses there. I really like how they look. They look so beautiful. But they have this brown tint. See, they are. Everything is brown. Everything is brown. It's like a filter. Everything is brown. But I really like them. I look good at it. Yeah. That's me. That's how I do things. I look good. Glasses, yeah. When they fit me, they fit me. And that's why I buy them. I really like glasses. When you see me wearing new glasses, it means I have money. So bill me, okay? I don't mind you there, but bill me.